Good morning, everybody. It's your boy D Max. So let's talk, man. All right. So a while ago, about 4 months ago, I did a episode, and it was titled "Why are we so quick to question God, but we don't question the people who have told us about God?" And that was just in reference to how we will blame God for things and we'll question God on things, but the earthly, fleshly representation of Him through pastors and just spiritual leaders, we have a fear of questioning them. And, and I'm not saying questioning them in a disrespectful or bad way, but proving them, making sure that they are who they say they are, testing the fruit of, not testing, but identifying the fruit of the Spirit within these people that are in a position of authority over us. And that was what I was talking about. And so the Pope came up because there was rumors swirling around about retirement, and this is also during the time that a lot of the backlash the church was taking because of the improprieties by a few of the clergy over a long span, because this has been a long standing quip in Hollywood, and you know people made little jokes over the years and things like that about it, but it's absolute serious thing that took place. Everybody knows what it is, so I shouldn't have to explain or just put it out there again. But with all of this swirling around, and he said his health is deteriorating. He doesn't have the strength of mind or the strength of body to perform his duties anymore. And so um, he's up there in age. He's 85 years old now, so that would be expected. I really don't see nothing wrong with him feeling like he should resign. If his fleshly temple is starting to fail him, then it's wisdom to know when to step back and allow someone else to come in and take over when you can no longer perform at the level that you had previously performed. So that's where we are. We have Pope Francis right now. He's deciding whether he's going to give it up. And he's also signing some new laws into place that is kind of going to be but he's been a controversial pope ever since he came into power. So this is going to set a precedence in the Vatican, and it's definitely going to bring them up to speed in, I guess, the age that we're in, because they have real strict laws and rules about certain gender placement. And so what Pope Francis is called to do, he has came out with a bill or a law that states that women can hold positions of power within the Vatican. So that's going to open up a whole entire new, fresh perspective on things. New, hungry, innovative teachers and professors and whatever other areas they're going to be operating in, then that is going to be welcome. It can only be a good thing for the Vatican right now. Um, so, coupled with all of the controversy, his failing health, and just so much stuff going on, him getting up in age, and the way that they do it, they have a system of when you have a pope who either passes away or or decides to resign, then you'll have about, I think they call together the top 21 cardinals, and they will then begin to do a vote amongst those head cardinals to see who's going to be the successor of Pope Francis. And when they do this, then they'll release the smoke from the smokestack, and everyone will know that there's been a new pope. So we'll just keep an eye on Francis, and we're praying for his health. I know that everybody there is praying for his health and his well being. But 85 years, that's a long, productive life. And so we wish him all the best, and we wait to see what is going to become of the Catholic Church, because there's a lot that has to be ironed out within the Catholic Church. Francis is leaving a plate full. And when I say Francis, I'm not saying that in a disrespectful manner. So, to any of my Catholic listeners, please take no disrespect. I mean none at all. But when Pope Francis leaves and the new Pope comes in, he's going to be coming into a major problem, and it's going to have to be dealt with on a large scale, from the Vatican all the way out to every Catholic church across the globe. And it's gonna cause a ripple effect. It's gonna cause a lot of blowback. It's This person is going to have to be strong enough to make those decisions to rid the Catholic Church of this thing that has been plaguing it for a long time, and also keeping it hindered from operating in the true power of God, because of these hidden secrets and these just violations all the way across the board. So I really don't know, man. We scrutinize a lot of different religions. We scrutinize a lot of different belief systems, and we will point out their flaws and we'll point out their wrongs. But every time we do that, we have three fingers pointing back at us. And so we have to keep this in mind. And that's something that I keep in mind when I be doing these episodes, because I don't want to speak from a perspective of somebody who feel like they're better, or somebody who's gloating or taking joy in somebody's misfortune or downfall. That's not at all the spirit that I operate in, nor is that what I project across these airwaves. I come with humility, as much humility as possible, not all the time. I'm definitely my father's son. And so I got a little bit of fire in me whenever it needs to come out. But for the most part, I'm on here to teach, I'm on here to build, I'm on here to learn. And so that's the type of atmosphere that I like to keep. And so, when I talk about these different topics, the reason I titled my show, "Yeah, I Said It," is because oftentimes people don't know how to properly articulate something, and so they'll say it in a way that is so harsh and brash, and people will be offended. But that wasn't the intent. That wasn't the point that was trying to be brought across. And so we have to really practice on these things. These are things that I practice. I practice having conversations with somebody who has total contempt for me. I practice these scenarios. I play these scenarios over in my mind. I sometimes act them out. I also, if anybody's been following me for a little bit and you've been knowing me for a while, I do a lot of different TikTok videos, and I do different scenarios. And this is just me acting out different scenarios that pop into my head, and different things that I deal with on a regular basis mentally. And some of these things I actually have went through. And so when I put these TikTok videos up, I do put them up to be entertaining, but I also put them up to be educational and to bring home a point. I want to get back to like the days whenever we had commercials with meaning, and we had television shows with meaning and purpose, and always had social commentary and a positive message at the end. We've gotten away from that narrative and that image in our country, and so our country follows whatever image is projected before them. And so we find ourselves in a pretty dark place right now as a country, as a whole, as a nation. So we have to definitely change this narrative, and by changing the images that we project and the speech and the way that we talk to people is the first step in getting us up out of this dark place that we're in and shine the light back on the country. This is my goal. This is what I desire to see, because I want to see the next generations be able to enjoy the fruits of the labor that their ancestors put forth. You know, my grandma and my grandpa and them worked real hard to give my mom and my dad and them the opportunities that they were afforded, so that I could be in the position that I'm in today. And I have to take that serious, and I can never take that for granted. So when I jump on here and I talk about things, and I say what I say, I'm going to stand on it. And if I'm wrong, then I'll come back and I'll say that I'm wrong, and I'll stand on that apology. That's what being accountable is about. And that's what learning is about. If you're afraid to be wrong, if you're afraid to make a mistake, then your growth is going to be very minimal, and it's going to be a slow grind. But, that's to each its own. I can't tell anybody how to grow. I can't tell anybody how to feed their spirit man or their carnal man. I can't. I can make suggestions and I can give cautionary tales, but ultimately people are going to make their own decisions. And what their decisions are going to bring them back to is that, you know, uh, you're going to have to be accountable. And when people begin to ask you about the situation, then you're going to have to be honest, and this is the thing that builds trust. This is the thing that shows transparency, and it goes a very long way with people. And so, as the Pope goes forward, he was very honest about his health, and the things that was going on. I can imagine the level of stress that would be on you at that age. That is a pretty tall order to try to feel. And so, like I said before, we wish you the best, sir. Um, and whoever comes next to be your successor, we'll also pray that he's full of wisdom and he's full of honesty and he has the integrity to make the decisions that are necessary for the Catholic Church to thrive once again and move forward in the things of God. So, yeah, that's all I really had to say about that. That is my update on Pope Francis and his retirement. Um, Hey, we have to be willing to question the people in authority over us, especially the ones who are in authority over our spiritual life. That's the most important aspect of our life. Out of all the different aspects of our life, our spiritual life is the most important. And so it's very important to know who you give in charge over your spiritual growth. And we all understand that there has to be an authority figure over us. And I'm telling you, I'm very rebellious and I'm very wary when it comes to authority figures, and that's something that God is working with me on. But it comes to a point to where you're gonna have to submit, and you're going to have to be humble yourself at some point. But it's also important to know the fruit of the spirit and be able to identify them in the person that you give charge over your spiritual life and your spiritual growth. So don't be afraid to question anything that you feel does not line up with the word of God, because that is our duty. That's what we're supposed to do. That doesn't mean that we don't reverence the or woman of God. That doesn't mean that, we don't trust them. That just means that we're keeping checks and balances. We're keeping everything cool. We're keeping everybody honest because, sometimes we need that. We're human. We have our judgment clouded by emotions sometimes. We're not always operating in the spirit of excellence. We're not always operating in the spirit of greatness. Sometimes we're operating in the spirit of us. And so we have to understand that about ourselves and be honest enough with ourselves so that we can actually get some growth. That's the only way you can truly grow, is when you're absolutely honest. That's it. That's one thing that I'm learning big time, is when you give people absolute truth, that gives them a more um, focused perspective on what you need to work on and the things that you need help with and what they can actually do for you. But that only comes with you being honest, being totally honest. And once I began to realize that, and that comes with growth, that comes with maturity, because once you hit a certain age, I came to this realization: you only lie out of fear. And who do I really fear enough that I feel the need to lie to? And this is a question that I really truly ask myself. And the only person that I fear at that level would be the Most High. And so, even in that, I'm not going to lie to him because I can't. It's futile, it's useless. So why would I lie to anybody on this earth when I don't have any fear of them? You know what I'm saying? So that opened up a different perspective for me that allowed me to be a lot more open and honest with people about what I feel about them, what I feel about different things. And it brought me to the point to where now I'm sitting here talking on this thing, recording these episodes with y'all. So I'm appreciative for all of the development and the building, because that's what all of this accumulated to. All of these things took place in my life. All of these different events led up to me being able to express myself in a way that is a release for me, that releases pressure off of me and releases pressure off of my family, and it releases pressure off of other people out there who are dealing with the same things, and just want to hear that somebody else is going through it too, and how they're dealing with it and how they're not dealing with it. So, and I'm just blessed to be able to do this. I'm blessed to be able to spend a little bit of time on here. And I appreciate you for coming through. I appreciate you for all of the support. I'm still growing intentionally. And, my subscribers is going up. About to hit that 175 mark. And, that's cool. That's cool. I'm with it. All of that. Thank you for all of my 174 subscribers. I appreciate every last one of you. Um, that's what I'm doing it for. Those are the people that hear what I'm talking about and pass it on. So it is what it is, man. What's going on, bro? You said the sun is killing him and his species. The UV index is super high. Man, I tell you like this. I was talking to somebody the other day, man, and they was talking about this can't be the same sun that I was playing in when I was a little kid. I'm like, no, it's the same sun. It's just that your body doesn't change. You old now. You can't. Your body can't recuperate like it used to when we was little. You can't go off of juice and cookies all day like you could when we was little. You have to eat a certain thing, live a certain lifestyle now that we older. So being out in this sun and you get dehydrated, and man, it can make for a bad day for you. So you know, we just need to protect ourselves. Luckily, we have a large supply of melanin, which protects us to a further extent, a little more than others, but still being exposed to the sunlight. And just going off topic a little bit about that, because I read a study that said we spend so much time inside that we have a vitamin D deficiency, and that's everybody. But some people more so than others. Like I said, the less melanated people suffer from it a little more than the more melanated people. But all the same, we don't expose ourselves to the outside like was done back in the day. Because like say you go back to the 18, 17, 1600s, stuff like that, they didn't have air conditioner. They had a airflow system through their houses, and they would catch that airflow, and they would build their houses and have their windows and stuff in such a way to where you would catch the breeze coming through if there was one to come through. But they survived, and they spent a majority of their day outside in the heat, whether it was 100 degrees, whether it was 99 degrees. They were outside a majority of the day, and that not just the slaves, not just the other workers or the overseers, but the masters as well. They were traveling, they were going to different places and doing different business deals and meetings and having their clan rallies and all of those things. And so they were outside a lot more than we are as a society now, especially after the whole pandemic, when it everyone was forced to be in the house, and then people got comfortable being in the house, and they realized that they could do their job from home. And so a lot of people had a problem coming back to the workplace, I should say. And a majority of people stayed home. And there's still a large amount of people who still work from home. And the whole work from home system has increased exponentially just because of the pandemic and the workload that it placed on them and the spotlight that it put on them. So now you have us staying in the house even more, and we don't get out and expose ourselves to the elements like we should to get that sufficient amount of sunlight soaking up into our body so that we can be able to withstand something. We're so soft and we're so thin skinned. I was feeling my hands the other day. I used to have calluses on my, like right here on my in my hand, and now my hands feel like baby hands. My hands are so soft and so just wimpy. But that's from retirement. I don't really do much of anything. I don't have no wood shop or nothing like that in my garage where I'm out there doing all of the macho stuff. I don't do stuff like that. I like to chill. I like to write. I like to make TikToks and talk. I'm not that guy to be outside like that. But as a kid, I was. But I try to get out more often now, take walks, and just expose myself to the sun more and try to acclimate myself to the temperature outside, because here in Texas, it gets hot. And it's when it hits about the triple digits, 102, 104, up in those numbers, It's like somebody's turning on a hair dryer and just blowing it on you from across the room all day long. And you can turn on a fan, but that's not going to work. It's just going to blow that hot air. And so, we just got to toughen up, toughen up our skin. That's all. Um, Shout out to all my melanated people. But yeah, this is your boy D Mac, man. I appreciate you coming through, my brother, as always, and definitely giving me something else to speak about, because I definitely was about to wrap the show up. And but yeah, I just wanted to give y'all this update about the Pope, and I wanted to come on and do an actual show. Like all of my other updates that I've been doing have been like the live. I'll go live and do about a 7 to 10 minute clip of that, just because it's an update. It's not a whole lot to really do with that. You do a recap of what took place, then you fill in, well, from the point of discovery up until the present. And it don't sometimes it don't be a whole lot. Sometimes it's still going on. And so, you know, I usually do those little clips. But this one, talking about the Pope, I had to give its proper journalistic integrity and actually articulate it in a way that would be respectful and still informative and still, not biased in any way, and indifferent. So I hope I was able to do that. And I'm about to go and find me something to eat to go along with this big pitcher of sweet tea I just made. So, yo, this is your boy D Mac, man. You know what I'm saying? Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.